Hello and welcome to Starting Small, Ending Big. My name is Victor Lopez, one of the managing partners here, and I wanted to just say thank you for joining us on today's presentation. I got a message for you at the end of it, so if you'll stay tuned, and without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you into today's message. Thank you. Hello everybody, again this is Victor, and if you're looking for where all micro business should start online presentation, you're in the right spot. So let's go ahead and let's get started here. All right, so the first thing that we're looking at before we get online is our strategy. And I got a quote over to the right there: failing to plan is planning to fail. So you got to remember that online marketing or internet marketing requires planning. Because just like all ventures in your business, this is a pretty big undertaking. You can't just go and go to like a GoDaddy site and do a site tonight because you're going to get frustrated because you don't really have no sense of direction. So the first thing that you want to start with is what's my strategy? What am I looking to do? Is my strategy for going online to go ahead and solicit more calls into the office so we can set appointments? Is it for people to sign up for a newsletter online? Is it to get people to a website to actually make a purchase? And then while we're thinking about that, we need to consider our current branding because we want the two to actually talk to each other. We need them to be cohesive units. So just kind of think about Disney, right? Disney's branding is all about family entertainment. We see it in their movies like Cars and The Little Mermaid and Cinderella. So if I was to take my 3-year-old and 6-year-old little girl to a Disney theme park, I would expect it to be family entertainment, right? So I wouldn't expect things there like a zombie to scare my kid, right? And make them feel uncomfortable. So we want to keep that current branding. If you're having problems with this or you don't really know what your branding looks like, think about what's worked for you in the past. And you can use this information to kind of framework what you really want your online marketing strategy to do for you. Let me kind of give you an idea about what I mean. Maybe in the past you send out a mailer. You sent out 2 different mailers, we'll say, and one of them had your rates on it and the other one did not have your rates on it. Well, maybe the one with your rates on it did better than the other one that did not have your rates on it. So we can take that information into consideration. So that way we kind of have a place to start when we're looking at setting up online. All right, so home base. Got this nice, beautiful home icon here. So your website is going to be where all of your traffic is directed. So let me just say that one more time. Your website should be where all traffic is directed. And there's a whole bunch of reasons for that. But one of the most important ones is we don't want to count on sites that we don't own. And let me kind of get into more about that. So Facebook, Twitter, even blogging sites like Blogger. The reason why you don't want to look at using one of those sites as your primary space online is because you don't own it. And so at any given time, people can change what's allowed on these sites and also how the traffic is directed. And just look at Facebook. I mean, Facebook changes all the time, just like the internet. It's constantly changing. So if you went to Facebook and you said, I'm not going to set up a website, I'm just going to create a Facebook page. Well, that's great. But Facebook changes how they're showing your content into people's news feeds all the time. And so if that's the only place that people can go, then you're in big trouble. A few years back, Facebook went and changed the actual coding that they took on their page. So you used to be able to have like a nice full web page on there, and it was pretty easy to do. And then one day they changed that coding around. So if your page was built out on Facebook and you were using that as your main website, and they decide to change the format that they want to use, your whole page could go down. And I don't really want to rely on somebody like Zuckerberg over there when it comes to my business. So that's why you shouldn't count on other sites like that. They're great to supplement. We'll talk more about those later. When you're thinking about building your actual website, remember, since this is our home base, this is where all our traffic is going, we want to think about things like content. So content is king. Content is king because Google loves dynamic content. And when we say dynamic, we mean always changing. So when you're thinking about building a website, we want a website that's going to be easy to update, that's not going to require manual coding. Really, if you're a micro business, you're going to want to do most of this stuff and upkeep it yourself. because we got smaller budgets. So we want something that's always changing and that's easy to change. Next thing, when you're thinking about building out your URL, your website address, you want to stay away from things like .com and avoid dashes. I'm sorry, you want to use .com, but you want to avoid dashes. So let me kind of give you an idea about that. I have a website called nmsmallbiz.com. Now, if it was nm-small-biz.com, when I went to give my email address to people, I'd have to be saying my email address is victor at nm-small-biz.com. It's a little bit more cumbersome when you're saying it over and over and over again, and you're going to be mentioning your website a lot. So that's just something that I found to be a little bit easier if you avoid the dashes. And most people are used to using .coms. I know there's a bunch of extensions these days, but think about what you primarily use, the websites you go to, they're all probably .coms. And if you're having problems with this, think about hiring a pro. You can get somebody to build you out a site for not very much money, or maybe they will cost you a lot of money up front, but in the end it'll make your life easier because it's going to be set up correctly. Now, if you do use a pro, I always recommend using WordPress. There's a lot of different website softwares out there, but I like WordPress because WordPress, there's two different types of WordPress. There's WordPress.com and WordPress.org. I'm recommending WordPress.org or a self-hosted WordPress site. These are really inexpensive to get set up and run. You can get hosting on GoDaddy for like $6 a month, and you can get a theme to buy for less than $100. And the reason why I like WordPress is because you can go ahead and you can create the site, and since it's an open source community, you have a whole bunch of people coming together, always trying to make the site better and make the software better and improve it. So as things change, like for example, Pinterest. Pinterest is a website that social media site that popped up recently within the last few years here. I say recently, but I guess it's been around a few years now. We didn't used to have Pinterest, right? Well, with WordPress, I remember when Pinterest came out, they had a plugin where I could go ahead and link my WordPress site to my Pinterest site, almost like within the first few months that Pinterest really began to gain popularity. So you don't have to really wait for everybody to catch up with it because WordPress is open source. It's always there on the cusp of technology and what's changing on the internet. And it's really easy to use. I'm telling you, if you can use Facebook and you can use Twitter, you can definitely use WordPress. All right, so before you start here, if you look over here on the screen, we have some search engines, we have some social media sites, we got WordPress showing on there, and then we have internet, SEO, social media, global marketing, business models. Remember that before you start going to set your business up on any of these places, you need to have your strategy set up, because this is going to really say, hey, this is the content that I'm sharing with the world. This is what I'm trying to achieve online. And once you have that down and you have your website built, it makes the other accounts be really easy to set up. Let me kind of give you an idea about what I mean. I went ahead and I built out the website that you're looking at here as a project with a group of people from New Mexico Highlands University. And I said, let's build the website first. Let's get a real big understanding of what we're trying to do and create an about page. And then we can use that information so that way we can spread it across our social media sites. And now we have a brand that is consistent. So setting up your strategy firsthand makes it easier when you're trying to go ahead and create all those other accounts. All right, so remember, the two things to do that we've talked about today is go ahead and create a strategy, and remember that your website is going to be your home base. Do your research on your home base, because that's going to be the foundation of your internet success. All right, if you're still not sure what you got to do next, contact us, and you can get us on the Contact Us page. There's a form there, just fill it out, and we'll get back to you. But if you're not ready for that, I got a couple of supplemental resources here for you. And the first one is a book, or I'm sorry, they're both books, but the first one is Guerrilla Marketing from J. Conrad Levinson. This is a classic marketing book, but it's a great book. It will help you actually put together a 7-step marketing plan. and even a content sharing strategy, which you can use both of those to kind of frame what you want to do online. And it's a great read. It'll teach you a whole bunch of stuff within probably the first 30 pages. So I recommend that one. And the next one is The New Rules of Marketing and PR by David Meerman Scott. I have read a ton of internet marketing books and marketing books. I probably read about, I don't know, maybe 10 to 15 a year, just depending on what I got going on. This book right here, The New Rules of Marketing and PR, I picked up actually while I was browsing at the library with my daughter one afternoon. And it is probably one of the first books that I should have read because it'll break down everything that's on the internet. So it'll talk about a website and what you should do on it. And then it'll talk about SEO and what search engine optimization actually is and how to deal with it. It'll talk about blogs and how to use blogs and blogging. So that's a great book for you to pick up if you're kind of just starting out with this whole internet marketing thing. I would check those two out. Hello, everybody. I sure hope you appreciated today's presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and put them below. But if you did go ahead and you liked today's presentation, you'd like to see more of it, we sure would appreciate you sharing today's information. If you use Facebook, share it on Facebook. You can tweet about it on Twitter. You can pin it on Pinterest. You can share it with your circles on Google+. However it is, whatever social media you like to use, if you like today's presentation, please go ahead and share it and comment below. Again, my name is Victor. Check back often for new content on this site. Thank you.